Hey guys, it's Matt with Meat Church and welcome back to my outdoor kitchen. Today I thought we'd kick it old school and grill a ribeye over an open fire. I was a steak lover before I was a barbecue lover, and when I first started cooking outdoors, I didn't know how to cook the perfect steak. I did all that stupid stuff like what's medium, medium rare, watched every video I could find, and then one day I figured out an instant read thermometer is how you nail the perfect doneness or desired internal temperature of a steak. But there's lots of ways to get there, and we've got videos on different ways to cook steaks, and I promise you every time I cook a steak, it's never like the time before. So for instance, you could say reverse sear a steak. That's a method where you smoke the steak to impart some smoky flavor, then you sear it hard at the end. You might use, say, a cast iron skillet to cook your steak in. Lots of people will do these inside or even outside. They'll put their steak in it. They'll baste with butter, with garlic and herbs and things like that. If you cook in SCA competitions, you grill steaks on grill grates. A high heat anodized aluminum that can put beautiful diamonds on a steak. You might sous vide a steak. You could smoke a steak. Lately, I've seen lots of people with small ovens like Auto Wild ovens that will cook a steak at 1500 degrees like a steakhouse. They're all great and different, have pros and cons. But before you can do any of that, you need to know the basics of how to grill a steak over an open fire, and that can help get you into all those other methods. You might be out camping with nothing but fire and a grate. You might have a propane grill at home. Who knows? This method today will help you if that's your preferred method. So what we're doing today is we're just cooking over a direct fire. We're on my custom Santa Maria grill. This part isn't all that important, but when I built my outdoor kitchen, I had a vision that the Santa Maria would be the center of the kitchen, that everyone would gather around. There's a bar out here where you can hang and watch what I'm cooking. But this is nothing more than a hole with lump charcoal in it and wood. So what we've done is we've put some lump down in the bottom. There's some wood as well. And then we've got a chimney of more lump that I've wadded up some of our butcher paper, put some oil on it, lit it. And we're waiting on this charcoal to completely catch, and then we're going to dump it in. We're going to burn this down, get a nice hot fire that's going to be definitely north of 500 degrees if you care about temperature. We can raise this grate up and down. We're not going to do that today. We're just going to move the steak around, and it's going to be delicious. One of the pros of this method would be you might just like the taste of that fire imparting flavor directly into the steak. So we're going super basic. This is old school. You don't have to have this fancy Santa Maria. I've seen people take these chimneys and put a cooking grate over it and cook the steak just like that. So the important thing here is how to treat the meat, how to check it along the way, and how it tastes at the end. So let's jump in. I'm going to season this really simply, but you got to start with amazing meat. Thanks to my friends at 44 Farms down in Cameron, Texas. They provided the steak for today. This is a ribeye. It's a never ever product, so that means no hormones or antibiotics. Whether or not you use their steaks or someone else's, it's important to know how the cattle was treated so you know what you're feeding your family. That's why I choose this for me. But this steak is gorgeous. Look at this gigantic spinalis, which is why I chose this one. This steak is like almost, 40% spinalis or cap out here, so it's gonna be super good. I'm gonna layer two flavors today. I'm going with our Holy Gospel and our garlic and herb. Always start with when you're layering, always start with your more coarse rub. And why is that? So the big peppercorns in here, you want those to adhere. You don't want them to bounce off. All sides. You could use a binder if you want, like an olive oil. I just patted this dry. I don't think a binder is necessary, but it's okay if you want to use an oil or Worcestershire or something like that. That's, perfectly suitable. By the way, the Holy Gospel, is not traditionally our steak rub. You guys know that our Holy Cow is what we normally use, but I got a buddy, Jack Arnold, that uses this on steaks for a well-known running back for the Carolina Panthers, and after I tried it, I was like, man, that's delicious. Has a touch of sugar in it, which I used to think sugar was kind of a no-no on beef, but I really like it. And over this direct fire, it's going to caramelize pretty good. So I'm coming back across that with that Meat Church Gourmet Garlic and Herb. This is a delicate rub, so you can put a lot on it. And then that's that. I always like to use the board to kind of get the edges a little more. And I want to let this seasoning adhere or sweat out, as so they say. I'm going to let this sit for 15 minutes. Would be fine if you wanted to do this for, like, say, up to an hour before you cooked it. But I'm going to give this 15 minutes, and we'll be back. We'll get this fire rocking and rolling, and we'll get to cooking. So this isn't just a recipe video. Let's teach you to cook a little bit. I could temp these, the grill grate, but I can tell you it's hot. So let's say you're out in the woods and you don't know the temperature. Use your hand. This is pretty hot. That's super hot over the middle. I can't hold my hand there more than a few seconds. My guess is the middle is probably close to 1,000 degrees. I'm gonna cook out here on the outside of this fire to start with. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my steak here. And what I'm trying to do is I'm gonna go a couple minutes aside to try to cook it nice and even. Listen to that sizzle. Press it down on that grate. Now what I wanna do to cook this nice and evenly, I'm gonna cook this minute and a half, couple minutes on this side. And then I'm gonna flip it over and I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. I'm gonna tell you up front, depending on your cooking grate, this isn't gonna be the most beautiful presentation. This is cooking on stainless steel bars that are just vertical here. They're not diamonds, not anything pretty. I could spin this a minute in 45 degrees and make beautiful diamonds. In fact, I may do that just to show you. But we're going to kind of flip this over after those first 4 minutes. We're gonna flip it every 45 seconds or minute, again, just to help it cook really evenly. And the presentation isn't gonna be like the prettiest thing we can make, and that's okay. I'm running a timer over here on my iPhone that I obviously started a little bit late. What do you think that's been, 30, 40 seconds? So use your trusty timer here. And let's just let this cook. I'm gonna see if we can get to 2 minutes. I'm gonna flip it over. Again, just to help it cook nice and evenly, and let it keep rolling. If you want to put some added pressure on it, you can put a little weight. This is a burger press I have from Iron Grove. Beautiful hand forged. If you want to keep some weight on it, if you're worried about your presentation, if you're worried about your diamonds. But this is going to be really, really hot, so I don't have to worry too much about that. If you guys want to see what the diamonds will look like, we can turn this about 45 degrees. I'm going to put it on a new piece of metal. Press it down. To finish out that first 2 minutes. You could use one of these pigtails to flip. I got this insulated glove. All right. There we go. Ribeyes are interesting because they got that fat in the middle, so I want to help them kind of keep shape there. But you can see that nice char on there. Those charred bits are flavor and what I love. So we're going to go upwards of 2 minutes on this side, and then we're just going to turn this thing every which way until we get to our desired temperature. I like my steaks medium rare, which is 130 to 135. That means I need to pull this steak between 120, 125 degrees internal right in the middle. When I pull it, it'll carry over cook till we get right in that medium rare range, and we'll rest it with some butter over here while that's happening. All right, we've been just at 4 minutes. Let's flip it again. Now I'm basically going to turn this thing every different direction. I like to go on new pieces of the metal. You don't have to do that, but again, it's super hot here, so I'm going to kind of stay on the perimeter of that fire. And let's use our instant read and check right in the heart of this steak. We're at 74 degrees, so we've got a little bit to go. So we'll be able to flip, do what you want, but I'm gonna try to flip it probably every 45 seconds or so. Just get those nice charred bits all over this steak. So you can see this side didn't get as much char. So I'm gonna now on this flip, I'm gonna go, let's go over the hot part. Right there. Whoo, that's hot. Already smells good with that fat dripping down in that fire. All right, this is super hot, so I'm gonna bust in my spatula here, flip again. And there's some, that got some char on it that time for sure. All right, been another 45 seconds. So now, kind of for the rest of the steak, I'm gonna stay out here on the edge, so the cooler part of the fire and grill, to let that thing come up to temp. All right, we're gonna go one last flip. Try to go this other direction. Not only am I flipping it, but I'm also spinning it, because I think we're just about there. Use your instant read thermometer to get right in the heart. All right, we're done. I'm gonna rest this on this pan. Ooh, that looks good. Now, I like to rest my steaks with a little bit of butter. This is unsalted butter, nice and plain. You could use a compound butter. Don't think it's a huge deal if you use salted butter, but there's a lot of salt in the seasoning, so I'm going with this. I'm gonna put it over here where it's cool, and we'll see y'all back here in, I don't know, 10 minutes when it's time to eat. All right, guys, this steak has rested for about 10 minutes. You can see the butter melted over it. That's important to let it rest because the juices will kind of redistribute throughout the steak. So that way you won't cut into it and all those juices run out and rob yourself of a really juicy bite, like I always say. Plus, this has been sitting in this pan in this butter, so it's gonna be delicious. I'm gonna talk to you about a little side dish here. So check out these potatoes, super easy. So I cut up some really small gold potatoes, halved them, parboiled them for like 8 minutes, and then I coated them in olive oil and Meat Church garlic and herb, threw them in the Traeger for 30 minutes at 400 degrees on a pan. And let me tell you something about these. This is a great, easy side. They're fluffy, but they're also crispy. Gotta make those. I'll put the recipe down below. All the recipes are always in the description, and they're also always on meatchurch.com. But let's see how we did. I mean, look at this steak. You got this gigantic spinalis, huge. I'm gonna start right here. We were temping right here in this portion, so that's where we're gonna start, see how we did. Look at that. That's a beauty. Is A-okay with me. And you can see it's cooked really evenly. I'm gonna go in and get me a little bite here. Let's see how we did. Whoo, tender. More tender than your mother's love. My dog, she knows what's up. All right, only 'cause I love you. All right, so that's that part. Let's get over here in the spinalis. That's the good stuff, right? If you're splitting the steak with your wife, this is a part you give your wife, and this is a part you keep for yourself. My wife doesn't watch my videos, so she doesn't know that that's what I do. But spin that open. Look at that spinalis. Man, this is gonna be so tender right here. This is crazy. Can make easy work of this with my new Iron Grove knife. Thanks, Daniel. Golly. I don't know what y'all are gonna have. Good Lord, I'm gonna need a minute. So, I love the flavor from the seasoning. I'm just gonna say that. On a Meat Church, you're gonna compliment your seasonings, but like I said earlier, I used to not put any sugar on beef. I love that. Cook directly over that open fire, really just with your senses and an instant read thermometer, moving it around constantly. You can see that it's cooked perfectly evenly all over the steak. I mean, I'll show you both sides of that. And you know, I love all the different ways of cooking steak, but there's just something about the primal nature of just cooking that directly over fire and the flavor you get from that. That's tough to beat, my friends. If you guys dig what we do, please like and subscribe to the channel. Our team's working hard to bring you no shtick, straightforward how-to cooking videos every week. See y'all next time.